Hello language learners. I have been learning French for the past 6 months, and I wanted to give you a good idea of some context with that. Meaning, if you scroll through YouTube, you'll find I learned French in 6 months, which the accuracy of that statement, it really depends. And I want to show that to you. I have been spending 6 months on this French Duolingo tree, and I've been using it to understand grammar, do some sentence building, up my comprehension. Be aware that there has been little to no speaking. So my speaking, somebody who's been speaking French for the past 6 months is going to have a much stronger, fluency level in French. Basically, they're going to be able to communicate in French. However, they are not going to have the sentence structure that I have. They are not going to have the grammar that I have. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. Duolingo is great for a lot of things. It is not great for everything, which is like any language app, especially the free ones. I decided to take advantage of Quizzic and go through Quizzic for the next year. If you're not really sure what Quizzic is, link below in the description for my review of Quizzic. Basically, Quizzic focuses on Spanish and French, really teaches you the languages in depth, and you'll see in a second. But basically, I wanted to highlight the differences between Duolingo and Quizzic, as well as just to see how far my French has gone over the past 6 months, to show you the difference in education between a free app and a paid app, and also to see what it can actually look like if you've been spending 6 months learning a language. There is going to be a big difference between me, who's been doing grammar and sentence building for the past 6 months, and somebody who has been speaking for the past 6 months, doing like italki or verbling or something like that. It's not really my goal right now to be a completely fluent French speaker. It could be if I put my time into speaking, but I didn't. So let's dive in. In this video, I'm going to be focusing primarily on Quizzic because I have so many videos on Duolingo. I have a review of Duolingo, all sorts of stuff. Check out the link below in my description of Duolingo because I have so much on it, and it's like the app, the most popular app, the most popular language learning community, I believe, is their branding. So I'm just going to talk about Quizzic. Do bear in mind that I'm about halfway through the French Duolingo tree. So I would assume, based on my knowledge of Spanish, I would probably say I'm about an A2 grammar-wise in French. But one of the things that Quizzic does really well is it tests you accurately. So let's go and do that. So here we have my Quizzic French dashboard. You can see that I've done a couple little tests, and by right here you see that I failed them miserably. Right here is a test that I took. I was having a lot of trouble with this concept in French, so I took these a couple weeks ago. But this one, you see, this French CEFR level test, this is the one that I want to focus on. I took this one July 15th, and I did terribly on it. Keep in mind that I only been learning French for a couple of months. So I think I got a little excited because it's so similar to Spanish. But now that we're like 5-6 months later, I'm going to test this again and see how I've done over the past 6 months. See how much knowledge I have, understanding I have of grammar and sentence building. You can also go onto this yourself to test your own Spanish or French level. If you go to crashculture.com/Quizzic, that's Kwizziq, you can see this for yourself. Start the French level test. Let's go. Skip questions if you're not sure. Wrong answers score negatively. Skipped answers just score 0. Got it. See, Duolingo is great. It's not great for reviewing short-term memory so that it gets into long-term memory. It ain't so good with that. A1. Ooh, yikes. But that's an improvement up to 6 months I got here. So do bear that in mind that 6 months in the time frame of learning a language is not that much. It doesn't get you that far. And keep in mind that, I'm already comfortable with Spanish. I said fluent in Spanish, and so that helped me a lot with French, but I'm still only halfway through A1 material, even after 6 months. I've been using Duolingo, which is fun, and it is helpful. It's taught me a lot of things, don't get me wrong, but I'm very interested to see how something like Quizzic pushes me forward in 6 months. So I'm going to make a tick to see where I am in 6 months with Quizzic, because I'm going to be using it for the next year for, you know, most of 2021. But you can see here, okay, entry level A0 pass, only at 87.7%. I didn't even get 90%. Beginner A1. 53.9% some competence. I got 4 wrong, and I didn't even, it shows me what I got wrong. I should have known that. It's just, this is why I'm going to be doing Quizzic for the next year. The brain map is an awesome thing that Quizzic does. So you go in here. This is my current understanding of every aspect of Quizzic grammar, French grammar. So you see that I primarily worked on A0. All the gray stuff hasn't been touched at all. The stuff that's slightly yellow, it's just been like vaguely tapped. And the green stuff is what I'm doing really well with so far. But you can really see like each of these little segments of French grammar, you go from gray to just a little bit yellow to more yellow to light green, and then eventually go to dark green. If you don't get any of them wrong. As you get them wrong, it'll go more towards red, deep red, dark red kind of thing. This is only for pro users. So let me show you, besides using Quizzic to understand, you know, how far Duolingo has gotten me in the past 6 months. Like I said, I've gotten through almost half of the Duolingo tree. Can't believe some of the questions I got wrong. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? Ugh, that's very frustrating. I just want to show you what else Quizzic does, because Quizzic isn't only just grammar. Like I said, I've been focusing on Duolingo, which is grammar sentence building, and that's pretty much it. There's a smidgen of listening, no writing, not really any speaking. Voice recognition software is not great. So I want to show you what else Quizzic does and why I've decided to invest in it for my 2021 goals. Library. Okay, so you have your French grammar lessons here. You also have listening practice. That's a big one because, like I've been saying, my listening comprehension is crap. So you have your free and bilingual reader, which is good. And there's not a whole lot of them, mainly probably so that you don't get used to using that kind of crutch. Let's go to the A1 one.
Scène 2. La maison de Scrooge. La chambre de Scrooge est à gauche de la scène. Il y a un lit à baldaquin, avec des voilages et à côté une petite table de nuit avec une bougie dessus.
I understood a lot of words, like individually, but my comprehension is not to the point where I like understood that fluently and I could understand the statements and the sentences put together. I still heard that as individual words, which goes to show, which I already knew, that my listening comprehension needs a lot of work. And that's one of the reasons, again, that I'm investing in Quizzic. And you see, go from A1, lots of A1, holy crap, lots of A1. A2, holy crap, A2.
B1. What? B1. Jeez, B2. Oh my god, C1.
So I'm really excited to make use of all of these listening exercises over the next year to up my comprehension and get it to the point where I can start understanding like videos, shows, because I am not there at all, not even close. So that's just listening. Listening is, again, another skill on top of grammar. Quizzic also has reading practice. Same story, you just read it. They don't really have speaking. They do have writing practice. And I'm going to show you what that means. Look at all that, that's crazy. I am very excited for the next year. He loves him as a relative. Ooh, I don't know what that means. Let's see how I did. I spelled it wrong. My bad. But it's self-reporting. That is what I meant to say. So, I'm gonna give myself 5 points. Compare your answer and see what I wrote. I meant to write that. I got a little lazy. And then it goes through and you take this passage one by one by one, like he's 16, comma, and then you go to the next part of that phrase. Understanding the amount of time it takes. I mean, I'm not learning languages full time. I wish I was. Maybe one day I can, but right now I can't. As I mentioned in my video about setting language learning goals, On average, I'm learning about half an hour a day. After 6 months, I'm like halfway through A1, which is lower than I thought. Duolingo is effective for a lot of things. I mean, I have definitely learned a lot, and I can probably comprehend a lot more than A1 level. But Quizzic is tough, it's strict, so do bear that in mind. All language learning resources, they look for different things, and so you have to find the one that is as strict or not as strict as you want it to be and is trying to show you the results that you want. There is a big difference between free resources and paid resources. There just is. That is not to say that you cannot learn a language without paying. You can absolutely learn language for free. The paid ones are going to give you more value. You know, you get what you pay for kind of thing. You have to decide what's worth it to you. I have a link below in my description about why expensive language apps are as expensive as they are. It's what you want to get out of it. And the big thing I want to highlight is the differences that you can see between something like Duolingo and something like Quizzic. There's an inherent difference at the base of Duolingo and Quizzic. They both serve similar needs. They're both very fun. They're both gamified and motivational, and Quizzic also has a free option. Basically, you can use all the lessons available on Quizzic and you get 10 quizzes per month. So you can absolutely use Quizzic for free to a degree. That rhymed. However, first of all, Quizzic begins telling you your official level, your CFR level. And based on the answers to the questions that you answer, it can recommend you lessons based on that skill. Duolingo isn't that precise. There are checkpoints that you go through and you can, get a general idea of where you are based on checkpoints, but it's not very precise. Structurally, Duolingo motivates you to get the lessons done and get gems or lingots and make your way through the tree and gild the lessons, whether or not you actually completely totally understand. A lot of Duolingo's lessons are, multiple choice, which is fine. Multiple choice has its place in language learning, but it's not, you'll get a feeling of 100% built on gilding lessons that might not exactly represent how well you know it. Quizzic, meanwhile, is amazing at getting down to what you're not 100% on, and Duolingo is like, get 8 out of 10 to get through this lesson. Quizzic is like, hey, you're not up to 100% comprehension yet. You're up to 98% comprehension. Whether or not you want to keep going, that's up to you, but it's not going to tell you that you have perfect comprehension in a lesson and then in a week you forget it and it still says you have comprehension. Quizzic is much more effective with that. And then while Duolingo does have helpful forums, which I highly recommend if you're using Duolingo, absolutely use the forums because there's a ton of information there that you won't find outside the forums. But Quizzic has its own lessons that were built and maintained and responded to by professional tutors. It's really just an elevation in learning. I'm really excited to see at the end of the year where I am with this, and in November, early December of 2021 to look back and see how far I've gotten in Quizzic's material, how far I've gotten in Duolingo's material, because I am still halfway through the Duolingo tree. And I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna focus more on Quizzic because I paid for it, basically. But I'll use Duolingo as a secondary thing for sure, just because I want to gild the tree. I've never actually gilded an entire Duolingo tree, so that's something that I wanted to do. But yeah, that's just a look at where I've been in the past 6 months in my French, where that's gotten me, where Duolingo has gotten me, where I'm hoping to go over the next year, how I'm hoping to get there. A good look back to see on where I've been, where I'm going, and I can't wait to look back at this video in a year and see how far I've gotten. But that is all I have for this video. Remember, I just started a new Facebook group, so if you wanted help with goal setting for your language learning, link below in the description, or just go to crashculture.com/community to join the Facebook group, where I'm going to be hosting online live events, where I'm going to help you with your goal setting and give you some more tips and knowledge and experience that I'm not showing here on YouTube. You're going to get a whole lot more of help from me from that Facebook group, so go ahead and join if you haven't already. Remember, you can find me every other Monday at my blog at crashculture.com and every single Wednesday and Sunday right here on YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.